Hello, hello. I'm Cameron Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. Anytime needed, we're at CWG.live. Warming trend gets going this week from warm tomorrow, but still below average, to even warmer and above average for this time of year on Tuesday. We then, by Wednesday, perhaps into the end of the week, turn a bit toasty, a little bit more humid by the end of the week, notably humid, I would say, and storm chances return by Friday into the weekend. Maybe not great timing on that last part, but we'll keep an eye on things and even for the chance of some strong storms at the end of the week into the weekend as well. All right, so we've got no heat tracker, zero for now on the season right now, no 90-degree days report, but we might have our first 90-degree day of the season by Wednesday, maybe Thursday and Friday. We'll keep you posted. If we have 1, 2, maybe 3 days of 90 or warmer, David, good evening. Pewee fan, AD Miller, hello, Loyo. Thanks so much for tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Next, and on CWG.live. We're live on all five of our channels for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat with Lisa and Mary. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, well, we might have our first 90-degree day on Wednesday. The humidity holds off until maybe Thursday or Friday. I think maybe Friday into the weekend, it could get a little bit muggy, sticky, with dew points maybe near or around 70 degrees. And precipitation animation this week is generally dry through perhaps Thursday. Thursday night, maybe some showers, maybe a stray storm move in. We'll watch chance on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for strong storms that start maybe on Friday. This is not a forecast, it's a low confidence computer algorithm that senses the ingredients might be there for Friday, maybe Saturday and Sunday. We'll have to watch to see if some strong storms do come together for the storm chances, the rain chances that return with the humidity at the end of the week. But overall, rain amounts pretty modest Friday through the weekend. Over the next 7 days, the rain chances again mainly confined to Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the 7-day forecast below. Half inch, 3/4 of an inch in some luckier locations, and that's okay. The drought has improved in parts of the region, which we'll go into in a minute. Clouds are hard to find Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, partly cloudy, mix of clouds and sun, and then cloudier on Friday as rain chances and humidity, atmospheric moisture return. But with our sunshine, we could have some haze. There has been some smoke at higher altitudes. Luckily, not too much coming down to the surface, but Canadian wildfire smoke is indeed making it into our region. So far, not too much making it to the surface to hurt our air quality at the surface, but we could see some air quality, yellow, maybe orange air quality a couple times this week. We'll have to watch this, but so far, things are staying above the surface and kind of elevated higher in the atmosphere for this Canadian wildfire smoke. Yes, you've seen on social media the aurora potential tonight. Confidence medium at best, but do go to higher elevations, look north, get away from city lights. Those are kind of the three things. Maybe a fourth thing is to have a camera or set your phone to a multi-second shutter speed, because I'm not very confident that the naked eye in the DC area will be able to see much movement of the northern lights, but you could capture it in a multi-second long shutter open speed on your cameras. But it's getting there. There is some activity. The most recent forecast and data right here below, kind of a very, very near-term forecast with the latest data. Go to spaceweather.gov and you can refresh things every, I would recommend 10, 15 minutes. You'll see the latest readings. But we'll see if this forecast comes true tonight for the solar storm that is underway. If this impacts the Earth to the extent that this forecast expects, there could indeed be some visibility with cameras at higher elevations away from city lights and looking northward. And I'm slightly encouraged by some of this activity. You can see it's not to the full extent that's called for in the forecast tonight, but there has been an uptick in near-term aurora activity. All right, let's see. Let's check the audio. Charlene, let me know. Willow and Jay, and we've got Nicole and Aud and Aaron. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we've got the Malmo. Let's see, the Maida Meow. Let's see. Here's the smoke animation. We do have some wildfire smoke from Canada that's moved into the region at higher altitudes. Luckily, just haze contribution, not an issue here at the surface where our air quality could be affected for now. So far, it is vertically integrated, and moving around the atmosphere at higher elevations, higher altitudes. So that's good news for surface air quality for now. Hello, Aaron and Ruth Elisa and Jovan. Thanks for tuning in from Indonesia on YouTube. And Paul, thank you very much for that update. And Charlene, great to know. Excellent. All right. And let's see. Yep, made meow. Indeed, the smoke from Canada, luckily staying at higher altitudes for now. Good evening, Pewee fan. Thanks for tuning in. And Violet, thank you so much. And David, let's talk about hurricane season. Yes, I am ready. Now that June 1 is here, Atlantic hurricane season has begun. Luckily, for the next 7 days, nothing expected to develop in the Atlantic. But here are the names that we can expect this year. The first one is Andrea. Again, no disturbances are expected to move to become and develop into Andrea this coming week. And overall, the forecast for hurricane season is for above average activity, greater than usual number of named storms as well. Laura, let's go to the allergy update. I love this. We're going to talk about weeds. That's the good news. Weeds are not in the latest pollen count. Grasses are heading gradually up toward their seasonal peak this time of year. So that's bothering me personally. I'm sure it's bothering you as well. And the other high aspect is mold. Mold is also ticking upward through the summer and early fall, and it's showing itself maybe a little higher sooner than average. But that is the other main ingredient of this latest pollen report, allergen report. And I gave a full update in yesterday's evening update on the blog at cwg.live, so be sure to check that out. Rick, I still think lows tonight could be within a few degrees of 50, so 40s are not fully out of the picture for one more night just yet. I'm not sure I want to say for the entire season, but decent confidence that downtown probably won't get as cold as today's 48-degree reading. I think that chilliness can be put behind us. Riot and Ben and Tess and Jason and Jay, thank you for tuning in on Instagram. And Nats Gal, thank you very much. And we've got AD Miller, thank you very much. All right, excellent. I think I'm caught up there. Excuse me. And Paul, Williamsburg next weekend does look rainy. Let's check for the rainfall precipitation animation over the next 7 days. Dry perhaps through Thursday. That's kind of the good news. The initial good news. Sunshine dominates through Wednesday. Even with a few more clouds by Thursday, rain is really not coming to the picture until maybe Thursday night into Friday. And yes, storm chances stay with us Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, perhaps next week. And even some strong storms are possible Friday into the weekend. We'll keep an eye on this. There are many question marks, but ingredients might be there by Friday for not only a return to storm chances, but a few of these could be strong to severe. We'll need to keep an eye on that. Rainfall amounts, even in Williamsburg, Paul, somewhat modest, half inch, 3/4 of an inch over the next 7 days. And the bulk of this, of course, is focused on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are the 3 days in this next 7 days where rainfall is even expected. And we've got clouds generally behaving themselves Monday through Wednesday. Again, it's turning toasty by Wednesday, maybe our first 90-degree day of the year. Can you believe it? We've had 0. Normally we have 3, as you can see, 3 days of 90 degrees or hotter by this point in the year. So far, 0. We might make up for lost time this week. Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe even Friday, we have 3 kind of chances of seeing 90 degrees this upcoming week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right, Rick, I hope I can keep that cold, the chilly lows out of here for you. You can see it's pretty toasty for these lows. After tonight, maybe relatively cool, maybe within a few degrees of 55. I want to say I should say 55, not 50 for tonight. And see my latest forecast, which I wrote a couple hours ago at cwg.live. And winds are calming down tonight, Dave. I don't see too much windiness this coming week, but it looks like every day wants to gust a few times near 20 miles per hour a little bit. James, yes, let's talk about hurricane season. Happy to recap that again. Let's see. So far, activity over the next 7 days in the Atlantic, quiet. Now, in the future, in the first storm, if we see a disturbance develop into a tropical storm, Starting here on June 1, hurricane season through November 30th, the first name would be Andrea, and then Barry is the second name on the alphabet. And the expectation for this hurricane season is for above average, a greater number than usual of named storms. So we'll need to watch that for conducive hurricane season activity. We'll see. We have a lot of Saharan dust around the basin right now, which is generally it's a prohibitive factor at developing tropical waves into tropical depressions and tropical storms. So we'll see how the season develops. June typically doesn't have too much activity. And the typical peak, we start getting mid August into early October. That's kind of the bulk of the season, generally centered on a peak around September 10th overall. All right, let's show you the dew point scale this week as I take some more questions and comments. Humidity should hold off on our first toasty day on Wednesday, which might hit 90 degrees, but it gets a little humid, especially more noticeable, I think, Friday into the weekend as thunderstorm chances return. We might see some dew points in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. All right, Happy and Seaback and District of Daisy, good to see you. And Spursek, thank you for tuning in. Skywalker Beth, I'm good to see you. I'm happy that you joined for our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A chat. Anytime you need us, we're at cwg.live, but right now we're also not only on the blog, but Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And I'm sorry, Jason, if you have a ball game to play on Friday, do watch out for some storm chances that unfortunately return. They hold off Monday through Thursday, it looks like this week. Maybe Thursday night we start seeing a stray storm or shower. But Friday, I can't rule out some storm chances. And I do want to just have an air of caution. Ingredients are there for Friday through the weekend. We could see some strong storms, but it's not a high confidence, any sort of official forecast just yet. But ingredients are there, and if they come together, we'll of course keep you posted at the blog this coming week. And we indeed could see our first 90-degree day as early as Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday offer two more chances for a total of three chances of seeing 90 degrees or warmer, our first ones of the year. All right, Worthwhile Pursuits, good to see you. And Skywalker Beth, I'm glad you've enjoyed the cooler weather. And Van Peter, and Clouds Coffee, and Mez Fleming, and April, so glad you got your field day rescheduled for Tuesday. That's excellent. Aurora Shelley, let's cover that really quick. The nearest data right now is getting a little more invigorated from the solar storm that's headed toward the Earth's atmosphere. Of course, uncertainty remains. We don't have too much data out there for space weather, but the current near-term forecast and current activity is a little promising. And the forecast, don't know if it's going to verify, but here's the forecast below. So late tonight, the recommendations are have a camera with long shutter speed open for multiple seconds to help you capture what might not be visible to the naked eye, which I'm not too confident about in the DC area, but to increase your chances, go to higher elevations, away from city lights, and look toward the northern horizon, and just allow your eyes to adjust as well. But this might not be as big as last May, but it does offer some chances to see the northern lights if you're at a high elevation. Really, the southern extent of visibility is currently forecast to say north of DC, but again, higher elevations like in Skyline Drive or the Shenandoah could help increase your chances for at least your camera to capture some of the colors on the northern horizon. All right, and smoke is in higher altitudes, higher portions of the atmosphere. It could plague us at times this week, creating a haze to the atmosphere, even though there are few to no clouds at times, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, very sunny days. But unfortunately, Canadian wildfire smoke could create some of that haze, a little bit of orange at times in the atmosphere. But there is good news. So far, air quality doesn't look too affected by this smoke getting down toward the surface where we're breathing, our air here at livable level, the lowest part of the troposphere. So we'll watch that to see if there's a change in air quality being affected. But so far, the trends are for this staying elevated at higher altitudes in the atmosphere this week. And again, clouds hard to find Monday through Wednesday, just some smoke at higher altitudes to create some haze. Mix of clouds and sun Thursday, and then storm chances with greater numbers of clouds return Friday into the weekend, but not adding up to too much. Half inch, three quarters of an inch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, watching maybe a chance for strong storms on Friday into the weekend. We'll keep you posted. The ingredients are there, but not guaranteed to come together by any stretch of the any means just yet. And now, precipitation animation just showing you a dry start to our week into midweek. Maybe Thursday night we start seeing a couple showers or a stray storm, but Friday into the weekend, sorry for the timing, right? But looks like our next rain chances do come in at that point. And let's see, drought really quick. It has improved this week when the light green shadings stayed the same in the gray shading, but there's still, you can see an orange outline north of Baltimore that has not improved in the gray shading, and that's still a severe drought in the middle part of the drought scale. So we need to kind of focus some rains there, but we'll get there. There's been slow and steady improvement. We're chipping away at some of this drought, and the temperatures next week. Let's look further into the future. They are leaning above average for next work week, and precipitation, good news for the droughts, leaning above average as well. All right, let me put up the heat tracker just to get you in the mindset. We could see our first 90-degree day as soon as Wednesday this week. Julia and Espro and Mrs. Molly, good to see you. And Rocky, Mrs. Smith Goes Washington, hello, Jenny. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. I think I've caught up so far on Instagram, and we've got Rick. Some rain could help quell the smoke at higher altitudes in the atmosphere by Friday, but we need to kind of get rain over to the source in the central parts of Canada, where they had a lot of thunderstorm activity in May, a lot of lightning that set things off. Alex, it has been too cold for you, so I'm glad to get you some of this heat Wednesday onward. It will indeed get toasty. Shelley, good to see you in Tilghman, Maryland. And Davis, glad that you had it in Colorado for the aurora. Let's put that forecast up for tonight. And even tomorrow night, there's a slimmer chance, not quite as good as tonight, that there could be aurora activity as well. Chris, indeed, keep refreshing. The KP level goes up and down every 10 to 20 minutes. The near term forecast has offered some promising signs. It's been more invigorated recently, but I, of course, have only medium confidence at best that we verify this intense forecast for the aurora tonight. And even if this gets that intense, you'll still need to get to high elevations away from city lights, use a camera to really capture what's on, again, looking at the northern horizon. Ruth Elisa, the rain amounts this week are modest. Let me find that for you, maybe a half inch to 3/4 of an inch. And that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the main focus days for the rain adding up over the next 7 days, with rain chances holding off. No rain to speak of as it looks now, Monday through Thursday. All right. Let's see. I think I've caught up. Michael, indeed, it's awfully nice for June 1st today. And all right, I think I've caught up CGC, Knifer, Duval, and JB. Excellent. All right. So recap over the next 2 minutes before I go. We've got our heat tracker still at 0. Normally we're at 3 by this point in the year of 90 days that are 90 degrees or warmer. We could have 1, 2, maybe even 3 days this upcoming week, Wednesday through Friday, offer chances to hit 90 degrees or warmer. And do the dew points creep up maybe a little bit on Wednesday, but not even if though it's toasty on Wednesday, I don't think it's too humid. Thursday, another little half notch more, and then I think Friday, end of the weekend, as those thunderstorm chances return, dew points near 70 can't be ruled out. So it does get kind of sticky and unpleasant. For the first time this season, we really, I think, could have that heat wave feeling by the end of the week into the weekend. Precipitation holds off until maybe a stray storm or shower Thursday night into Friday. Friday into the weekend, decent storm chances, a few of them even by Friday. And into the weekend, we're looking at ingredients, not a guarantee, but ingredients for some strong storms. And let's see, rainfall amounts half inch to 3/4 of an inch, generally speaking, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Clouds not to be found Monday through Thursday, maybe a few move in on Thursday, but Friday into the weekend a little cloudier. And our sunshine early to midweek kind of spoiled a little bit by this Canadian wildfire smoke. The bad news is it could create some haze. The good news is it stays at high enough altitude as it stands now. No surface air quality issues really. Maybe yellow, maybe one day an orange, but no major air quality issues as it looks so far. But please stay tuned to CWG.live as we go through this week. And as we've said, Aurora has a potential tonight on the northern horizon with a long exposure camera, dark place away from city lights and high elevation. If you can meet those conditions, there is a chance that you see some activity tonight on the northern horizon. So far, the near-term activity and near-term forecast, not quite there yet for the peak forecast that has, in this slide, been given for tonight. So we'll see. I mean, this is a little bit encouraging. If the trend continues, maybe we'll see some visible activity on the horizon. Allergy sufferers, tree pollen is pretty low, but let's skip to grasses, which is very typical near the peak this time of year. Mold as well as growing and getting going this time of year as well. So grasses and mold are the biggest concerns, and weed, the fourth and final piece. Weed pollen has not been reported in the latest pollen report, so that's good news there. Looking ahead to next work week, leaning above average for temperatures, leaning above average for precipitation. The drought is slowly improving, though we still have a severe little donuts drawn there north of Baltimore in the dark orange outline. But again, nothing's gotten really worse this past week. That's some good news. And hurricane season is here, but no activity just yet in the tropical basin, Atlantic tropical basin. Our first name, should we see a tropical storm this year or in June, we will see tropical activity, but Andrea is the first name on the list, and the activity level is forecast to be above average for this hurricane season. So we will get to Andrea eventually, just not in the next 7 days. All right, I will leave it there. Good to see everyone. I'll see you next Sunday for a weekly Sunday Sunset Chat then. David, you take care. Dave, pollen could increase again this week, especially with grasses. Chris, keep at it. The aurora could still have another surge into midnight. And I think decent clear skies for you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, Chris, on X. And let's see, we've got Ali, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And JTB and Stand and Seamus and Insta and Steph. Thank you very much, everyone. And Pewee fan, you're very kind. Thank you so much. I'll see you all next Sunday on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X, and at CWG.live. We're there 24/7 anytime you need us. And it's updated right now. So I'll see you this weekend for our video.